Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to Midday News on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Sadia Yakubu. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channels 365 and StarTimes channels 276. National Security Advisor Nuri Badu has handed over 128 kidnapped victims from Zamfara State to their families in Abuja. He also dismissed allegations that 35 of the victims were killed by bandits and terrorists before others were rescued. The victims, comprising males, females and children, were rescued by security forces in two different operations in Kaura Namoda in Zamfara State. The National Security Advisor also said the victims will be treated for trauma and helped to settle down in their communities. The National Examinations Council has confirmed it will phase out the traditional paper-pencil method, beginning with the November-December 2025 Senior School Certificate Examination. The Council stated that all examinations will now be conducted using a full computer-based system. The federal government in July revealed that privately owned CBT centers and other belonging to public institutions will be fully developed in the conduct of the school-based SSCE by 2026. The People's Democratic Party caucus in the House of Representatives has asked President Bola Tinubu to give Nigerians what it called better treatment, citing rising hardship and insecurity across the country. At a press conference in Abuja, the caucus aligned itself with decisions of the party's National Executive Committee, which recently confirmed Umar Damagum as substantive national chairman of the PDP, and Niete Patrick reports.
Leader of the caucus, Fred Agbadi, said the process reflected the party's commitment to due process and internal democracy. He, however, raised concerns over what the caucus described as disregard for court rulings in Osun State, particularly on local government administration.
Ask the federal government to obey valid court judgments leading to validity or validating the local government elections that were held in Osun State. Osun State is led by a PDP governor, a successful government and governor who has proved that he's in touch with his people and is delivering dividends of democracy to the people of Osun State. This is anti-democratic, and as a party caucus in the House of Reps, who are lawmakers, we insist that the right thing be done, due process be complied with, legal judgments be obeyed, so that Osun State and the people of Osun State and the local governments will enjoy the benefits of the creation and administration of local governments in Osun State.
The lawmakers further decried what they call increasing insecurity and economic hardship nationwide, urging the federal government to prioritize the welfare and safety of citizens. They also called for the prompt payment of indigenous contractors, insisting that many families and businesses are suffering as a result of unpaid government obligations.
There are massive killings going on across the country, and that shows that a government that cannot protect our people is not a government that is fit to continue in office. This government has failed Nigerians. The APC government, for the past 12 years, 10 years that have been in power, has failed Nigerians. And Nigerians have come to know that PDP is the only party that can bring succor to them. Not only killings, there's a lot of hardship in this country, and Nigerians are groaning in their pains daily. People are committing suicide because the government is not paying attention to them.
The caucus assured that it will continue to uphold the administration accountable through robust legislative engagement. The PDP caucus emphasized that Nigerians deserve a government that protects lives, respects court judgment, and eases the current burden of hardship. Niete Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
The Nigerian Army says it is extending its role beyond the battlefield by supporting agriculture in Benue State, Nigerian's food basket. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, has launched a fertilizer distribution program aimed at boosting food production and strengthening community security. Benue State correspondent Felicity Ndire reports.
At a gathering of community leaders, farmers and stakeholders, the Army rolled out its fertilizer distribution program across Benue farming communities. The initiative, championed by the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Oluyede, is being described as a game changer for the state known as Nigerian's food basket.
You're supposed to be holding this one by your side, even if you get exhausted of your bullet. You can use the spear.
Represented by the garrison commander, Lieutenant Colonel Abdullahi Bako, the army chief said the gesture highlights the military's commitment to national development and citizens' welfare beyond its traditional security mandate.
Farmers need the tools and input necessary to make the land fruitful. The people of Benue State, the backbone of our nation's food production, will reap immense benefit from this intervention, and as productivity increases here, the ripple effect will be felt across Nigeria, enhancing food availability and affordability nationwide.
For many in Benue, the intervention could not have come at a better time.
It is something that nobody has ever done this, but today we appreciate their gesture for bringing the fertilizer. They have brought it on time. Because this is the time the farmers.
The Chief of Army Staff himself, Oluyede, sent his representative here to give up fertilizer to boost our agricultural farming. We are very happy about it. Then this thing has been flagged off. It has boosted our morale to go into more farming activities.
We have been affected so much that mostly youths in our community, in our society today, depend on agriculture products to sell before they get money. In most cases, in almost every village in our communities.
The initiative themed enhancing food security through community protection, defending the harvest, securing the future, reflects the Army's broader vision of distribution to national development, while sending a clear message that its mission goes beyond the battlefield and into everyday lives of citizens. From Konshisha, Felicity Ndere, reporting for Global TV News.
The federal government has launched a digital portal where Nigerians can report fraudulent activities in housing estates, submit evidence and track the progress of their complaints. In the disclosure contained in a statement released by the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, the federal government says that fraudulent practices in housing estates will no longer be tolerated and that offenders will face the full weight of the law. The Benue State House of Assembly, in a dramatic turn under its new Speaker, Alfred Berger, has suspended a former Speaker for 6 months over allegations of plotting to impeach the governor of Benue State. Our Benue State correspondent Felicity Ndire reports that lawmakers in the same sitting also confirmed the nomination of James Dwem and Timothy, a law lecturer earlier rejected over multiple petitions.
After the emergence of Honorable Alfred Berger as Speaker on Sunday, lawmakers resumed plenary, continuing with the screening of the last 5 commissioner nominees forwarded by Governor Hyacinth earlier.
A motion came, the former speaker should be suspended. Reasons were alleged, seconded by someone. There was no counter motion.
Following the exercise, the House confirmed Onguga, who had been rejected last week over petitions from former students, alongside James Dwem. The confirmations were carried out without usual voice vote, as members who once opposed them raised no objections.
I write with the highest sense of respect on behalf of the government and people of Benue State to resubmit for your kind consideration the names of the following commissioner nominees, earlier turned down but not confirmed by the Honorable House.
The House suspended former Speaker Anduna Daju after a motion by Tena Shimawa recently recalled from suspension over an alleged impeachment plot against Governor Alia.
Informed that on Thursday, 21st August 2025, Right Honorable Haisen Odnadajo, the then Speaker of the House, called the honorable members to a meeting and thereafter used their attendance sign during the meeting to initiate impeachment against His Excellency the Governor of Benue State, Governor Haisen Alia.
That the House suspended Right Honorable Haisen Odnadajo, Boko West State Constituency from legislative duty for 6 months to allow him to have a routine from his action. He will serve a 3-month suspension.
Analysts believe the confirmation of previous rejected nominees may have heightened pressure on Dajo to resign, paving the way for Sunday's emergency plenary and the election of Alfred Bega as the new speaker. From the Assembly Complex in Makurdi, Felicity Ndere, Global TV News.
Governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, has approved a new minimum wage of 1,400 naira for civil servants in the state. Uzodinma made this known during a meeting with various labor union leaders at the government house in Owerri. The minimum wage was increased from 76,000 naira to 104,000 naira. Also increased was the minimum wage of doctors from 215,000 naira to 503,000 naira, while that of teachers in tertiary institutions was increased from 119,000 naira to 222,000 naira, among others. The People's Democratic Party (PDP) has confirmed Ambassador Idliya Umar Damagun as its substantive national chairman after serving in an acting capacity. This resolution formed part of the key decisions reached at the 102nd meeting of the party's National Executive Committee in Abuja. Aniete Patrick has details.
Reading the communique after the meeting, PDP National Publicity Secretary Debo Ologunagba explained that NEC adopted the recommendation of the National Convention Zoning Committee. According to him, all national offices currently held in the north and south will remain in their existing zones, except for the office of the national chairman, which remains in the north. Ologunagba added that the party has zoned its 2027 presidential ticket to the southern region, stressing that the PDP is committed to a seamless and inclusive process as it prepares for its elective national convention, scheduled to hold in Ibadan, Oyo State, from Saturday, November 15th to Sunday, November 16th, 2025.
In recognition of the effort of the National Working Committee under the leadership of Acting National Chairman, Ambassador Idliya Umar Damagun, in stabilizing the party, NEC hereby ratifies and confirms the appointment of Ambassador Idliya Umar Damagun as the substantive national chairman of the party with effect from today, 25th August 2025.
The NEC also reviewed updates from the PDP Constitutional Amendments Committee and directed that the proposed amendments be circulated to all party organs and chapters nationwide for further input. Furthermore, the NEC commended the PDP Governors Forum, the Board of Trustees, the National Assembly Caucus, and other party structures for their unity and commitment towards ensuring a successful convention. Meanwhile, the NEC condemned the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC), accusing it of state-backed intimidation, manipulation, and violence during recent by-elections. The PDP warned that such actions by the APC threaten democracy and national stability, accusing the ruling party of pursuing Nigeria towards a one-party state.
NEC received and after extensive deliberation approved the report of the National Convention Zoning Committee, which recommended as follows. A. That all PDP national office positions currently in the northern region of the country remain in the northern region. B. That all PDP national office positions currently in the southern region of the country remain in the southern region. see that the position of the national chairman haven't been retained in the northern region of the country. The presidential candidate of the party for the 2027 general election is thereby zoned to the southern region.
He, however, reaffirmed the commitment of the party to democratic values and the protection of citizens' rights, while vowing to mobilize Nigerians and work towards reclaiming power in the 2027 general elections. Annie T. Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
The Academic Staff Union of University says it has given the federal government enough time to meet the demands of its members. The president of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Christopher Puna, said lecturers of public universities had made sacrifices and deserved their entitlement. He said the union had engaged the administration of President Bola Tinubu but decried the response of the government, which he said was extremely slow. No fewer than 239 first-class graduates of the University of Lagos employed as lecturers have left the institutions within 7 years. Immediate past Vice-Chancellor of the institution, Professor Oluwatoyin, disclosed these while speaking as a guest lecturer at the event, themed Innovative Funding of Functional Education in the Digital Age in Lagos State. Citing statistics, Professor Ogundipe noted that the University of Lagos retained 256 first-class graduates as lecturers between 2015 and 2022, but only 17 remained in the institution's employ as of October 2023. You're watching the live broadcast of Midday News. When Midday News returns, Nigerian Professional Football League to probe more players over betting allegations. Details coming shortly, plus business and foreign stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Business news. President Bola Tinubu on Tuesday praised the remarkable growth of Nigerian's capital markets under his administration. This is as he credited investors' confidence in his economic reforms for the surge in activities on the Nigerian exchange. He disclosed this while receiving the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Dr. Emomo Tim Agam, and the Board of Directors of the Nigerian Exchange Group in Brazil during his state visits. The Nigerian Customs Service Federal Operation Unit Zone A, Ikeja, has handed over 3 trucks of expired pharmaceuticals worth of 3.7 billion naira to the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control. This was contained in a statement by the Command Public Relations Officer Hussaini Abdullahi. According to the statement, the Custom Area Controller in charge of the command, Muhammad Shuaibu, handed over these contraband when he received the new agency's director in charge of enforcement and investigation, Dr. Martins, on a courtesy visit to the command in Ikeja, Lagos State. The Central Bank of Nigeria has issued a fresh directive mandating all participants in the country's payment ecosystem to complete migration to the ISO 2022 messaging standard and implemented mandatory geotagging of payment terminals by October 31, 2025. In a circular published on its website on Tuesday, the Apex Bank reminded deposit money banks, microfinance banks, mobile money operators, switching and processing companies, payment terminal services providers, payment solution service providers, super agents, and other licensed operators that the ISO 2022 is now the global benchmark for payment messaging. And on the foreign scene, the World Food Programme has warned that the aid Israel is allowing to enter Gaza remains what the United Nations agency has described as drop in the ocean, days after Femini was formally declared in a one-ton Palestinian territory. During an interview, Carl Scow, World Food Programme's Deputy Executive Director, says While there has been a slight increase in aid trucks entering, there needs to be a completely different level of assistance to turn the situation around. Uyi Agbomofregbe has the details.
The United Nations had declared a famine in Gaza last Friday, blaming the systemic obstruction of aid by Israel during its nearly 2-year war with the Palestinian militant group, Hamas. Skau, who doubles as the World Food Programme's chief operating officer, said over the past 2 weeks, there has been an average of around 100 trucks per day allowed into Gaza.
What we have seen over the past, let's say, 2 weeks is there is a slight uptick in the volumes of assistance that we are able to bring in. I think we are averaging now maybe 100 trucks more or less per day. But obviously that's still a drop in the ocean when we're talking about assisting some 2.1 million people. And so we need a completely different level of assistance to be able to turn this trajectory of famine around.
He called for substantial investment in food security, stating that extreme actions are likely to be considered in the face of food scarcity by those who have been adversely impacted.
We are in a funding crunch, and the challenge here is that the needs keep going up. We see some 320 million people right now being acutely food insecure. It's almost a 3-fold increase in the past 5 years, and that is now happening while the funding is coming down. For WFP, we see some 40% cut if we compare to last year.
The Rome-based Integration Food Security Phase Classification Initiative says famine is affecting 500,000 people in Gaza. Uyi Agbomofregbe, reporting for Global TV News.
On the worsening refugee crisis in the country, which now hosts millions of displaced people. Our correspondent Mukhtar Kasim reports.
In Kinshasa, the United Nations Refugee Chief, Filippo Grandi, was received by President Felix Tshisekedi at the Palace de la Nation. The Democratic Republic of Congo is facing one of the world's most complex displacement challenges. Ongoing conflict in the east has forced nearly 7 million people from their homes, while the country also shelters refugees from neighboring nations. During the meeting, Grandi stressed the urgent need for stronger international support to ease the humanitarian burden. He also highlighted recent repatriation efforts, including the safe return of more than 500 Rwandan refugees last month under the United Nations supervision. The United Nations High Commission for Refugees is calling for coordinated action to ensure both protection and durable solutions for displaced families across the region. For President Tshisekedi, the visit underscores his government's commitment to working with international partners to stabilize the situation and provide hope for those affected by years of instability. Mukhtar Kasim, reporting for Global Television News.
And in sports, the Nigerian Premier Football League has said it will invite more players for questioning in an ongoing probe into betting allegations in the Nigerian top flights. Former Plateau United goalkeeper Adewale Adeyinka was suspended and faced the NPFL panel last Thursday after he reportedly failed to sign a betting and match-fixing clause in a contract offered to him by Shooting Stars Football Club. Reports stated that the player was indicted in a complaint lodged before the league body by his former club, Plateau United, hence his invitation to appear before the panel. That's it on Global TV Media News. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channels 365 and StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using at Global TV NG. I am Sadia Yakubu saying thank you for watching.